Ever wonder why we measure time in seconds, minutes, and hours? Or why a gallon of milk isn't the same size worldwide? These are all questions about units and measurements, the universal language of science, engineering, and our day-to-day life. We begin our journey with the most fundamental unit of time, the second. A second is the base unit of time in the International System of Units, also known as the SI. This system is universally accepted in scientific and everyday life. But how did we decide on the length of a second? Well, it's a fascinating story that dates back to ancient times. The Egyptians were the first to divide the day into smaller parts, using large obelisks as sundials. They broke the day and night into 12 sections each, which is why today we have 24 hours in a day. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, scientists further divided the hour into 60 minutes and the minute into 60 seconds. This division by 60, known as sexagesimal system, has its roots in ancient Babylonian mathematics, which were based on the number 60. Now, let's switch gears to volume, another important measure we use every day. Think about when you buy a gallon of milk. Did you know that a gallon in the US is not the same as a gallon in the UK? In the US, a gallon is equivalent to 3.78 liters, while in the UK, a gallon is a whopping 4.54 liters. This difference comes from the fact that the US uses the customary system of units, while the UK uses the imperial system. Both systems have their roots in historical units of measure, but they have evolved differently over time. And how about units of length? The meter, the basic unit of length in the SI, was originally defined as 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the equator to the North Pole. Today, it's defined by the distance light travels in a vacuum in a fraction of a second. So, to sum things up, units and measurements are everywhere in our daily lives, from the seconds ticking by on the clock, to the milk we pour into our cereal, to the distance we travel to school or work. These units come from a variety of historical and scientific sources, and while they may sometimes seem arbitrary, they are all based on precise definitions and standards. Remember, the next time you glance at your watch or measure out ingredients for a recipe, you're participating in a tradition that stretches back to ancient times, and you're speaking the universal language of units and measurements.